All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, let's see. Turn on my little AirPods. I can't hear. Okay. Can you hear me? Because I didn't hear the little click for my AirPod. Can you put a 1 or something in the chat and let me know if you can hear what I'm saying? Can you hear me? Yeah, thank you. Okay. Not sure if... I don't think these are working. I think I need to charge those up. Okay, let's go ahead and get into our women's tarot of the day, our women's history tarot of the day, just because it is no longer officially Women's History Month. Every day can be Women's History Month, right? Just like every day is Black History Month. So the next person that we have here is Octavia Butler. That's very exciting. Of course, we are reading from our tarot guidebook, right? This is my new deck anyway. It's not a new deck, but it's new to me. So Octavia Butler is showing up as the 3 of Pentacles. Very interesting. 3 of Pentacles in the traditional tarot is about working together, workmanship, craftsmanship. So that's interesting as we think about Octavia Butler and what she crafted and what she was able to do through her literature. All right. Octavia Butler, 1947 to 2006 in the United States. Okay, so in the upright, meaningful work, as I said, talent, discovery, writing, a burst of productivity. Oh, that's good. As we are still in Aries season, a burst of productivity. That's really, really nice. I like that. Okay, let's get into this. As a child, Octavia Estelle Butler was painfully shy and suffered from dyslexia. So here we are again. Every single one of these cards, the person that we're talking about had something to overcome, whether it was mental illness or here Octavia has dyslexia. We had women who were discriminated against because of their gender, because of their racial and ethnic background. So here we are again. It says Octavia often felt lonely and isolated, spending a lot of time at her local library reading fantasy and fairy tales. So that's interesting, just because not even from an astrological perspective, but from a channeling and spiritual perspective, what I'm hearing is that it's like she almost, or they, I'm not sure how they identified, it's almost like they had to be plucked out. It's almost, I'm thinking of the Hermit card in tarot. I'm just looking at my tarot cards here, where you have to be plucked out, so that you have to sort of be in isolation so that you can receive the messages, right? Look at that, I got red lipstick on my finger. All right, so I'm thinking of that being very purposeful on a spiritual level, that isolation, so that her imagination could grow without interference from other people. She says, while I was in junior high, I grew to be almost 6 feet tall, recalled Octavia in a 2000 interview with Locust magazine. I was very shy and I carried around a huge notebook in which I was always writing. The bullies found me amusing. Me too, Octavia. We have that in common, sis. When Octavia was 10, she begged for a typewriter so that she could begin writing stories of her own. 2 years after she received her machine, she saw a sci fi film, Devil Girl from Mars, in 1954 on television. In the 12-year-old author's opinion, the movie was terrible. Have I seen that movie? I don't know. I can do better than that, she asserted in the same Locus interview. I think I'm going to start working with Octavia Butler. So on Clubhouse, I had started doing the Octavia Hour where I was reading Octavia Butler every week. But in full disclosure, when my mother fell down the stairs, like that just disrupted everything. Like so, it's disrupted everything from when she fell in February to when she came home in the middle of March. So yeah, that kind of went out the window. My Octavia Hour went out the window. Okay, so she says, I can do better than that, she asserted in the same Locus interview. Her mother encouraged her, though. Some of her family members and teachers were baffled, not only by the idea of a Black woman becoming a writer, but also by the complicated stories that Octavia was telling at 13. So this is also interesting because I was listening to a conspiracy theories program on Spotify yesterday, a show program, I'm 85, and they were talking about Mary Shelley and how she was only 18 when she wrote Frankenstein, which I did not realize. And they thought that it was her husband, Percy Shelley, because, first of all, so many women weren't even educated at the time that Mary Shelley was alive, but also the ideas, the things, the science, the things that she was writing about, people, men, well, probably women too, didn't believe that she had the capacity to do that, that an 18-year-old had the capacity to do that. At 13, Octavia started sending her work to science fiction magazines in the hopes of being published. She got her wish as a freshman at Pasadena City College several years later when she won a short story contest for the school's literary magazine. So I'm also going to look up Octavia Butler's birth chart because I want to see, because even the name Octavia is like interesting to me. Octavia Butler. Even that name is otherworldly. June 22nd. Okay. Let me get into this chart. All right. So, wow. Okay. So, this is super interesting. So, one of the things that I learned in so she's a Cancer, Moon and Leo. What's her Pisces doing? What does she have? Does she have anything in Pisces? Okay. So one of the things that I learned in my astrology class is that when you have a chart like this, right? So it probably looks opposite because I'm showing it this way. But when you have your predominant placements on the left side, that is called Occidental. And when you have it more on the right side, it's called Oriental. And a person who has placements more on and that's just the way it is. Like that's what it is. So a person who has this many placements on this side, on the Occidental side, this would be a person that is more self-directed, a person that, listens to themselves mostly. And then this is a person that if you had more things on your chart, if you had more placements on this side, then this would mean that you're more amenable to being influenced by other people on the Oriental side. If you have things above so the sun line is like right here, right? So if you have things up top, if you have more placements up top, that's what they call superior, that would be a person who was striving for things that were unfamiliar. They would be more outwardly focused. They would be more like wanting fame, just to use that term, when you have things under the horizon, that would be a person that was more internal. They would be more family oriented. And so it's interesting that she has a balance here. So what this tells me, it's so funny because I just got finished. Well, I wasn't able to do my last astrology class yesterday, but I did listen to the recording yesterday. And so it's very pertinent on my mind right now, very much on my mind. So what this tells me is that this is a person that is, she might not have been comfortable because she does have more placements under the horizon in a way. And so this tells me that her work, even though her work was very famous, that and very much well known, that she would be more comfortable having things under the surface and sticking to things that were familiar. And it does say here that she was shy too. So her chart definitely, damn, she has what's called a stellium in Leo. So anytime you have 3 or more planets in one sign, is that Leo though, or is that Cancer? Wait a second. All right, I'm gonna get too wrapped up in that. I'm gonna get too wrapped up. Okay, let me get back to this. All right. Well, but it's all related though, right? Because this all, what I'm really looking for in this chart is her otherworldliness. That's what I'm looking for in this chart. Mhm. That's what I was looking for. That's what I'm interested in. Okay. Stunning. All right. Anyway, so after graduating with an associate degree from Pasadena City College in 1964, Octavia worked whatever jobs she could support herself and spent the rest of her time at her typewriter. Now, the 10th house has to do with fame. What's in her 10th house? Oh, interesting. And then the midheaven is kind of what you'll be known for in life. And so she has her midheaven in Aries. And the thing about Aries is that Aries is a sign, because it's fire, that seeks to set itself apart. It's like the you can't sit with us sign. And so it's interesting because she has her midheaven in Aries. And so that feels very much like she's known for these otherworldly things, these separate ideas, these things from faraway places, if that makes sense. Okay, her chart's fascinating. All right. Rein in my Gemini moon. Rein it in, flowers, one thing at a time. She continued to take writing courses at the University of California and attended workshops for emerging writers. At a workshop for minority writers, Octavia's writing impressed one of the teachers, sci fi author Harlan Ellison. He became a lifelong friend and mentor, introducing her to other writers of the genre. During the first half of the 1970s, Octavia worked on a series of novels that would become known as the Patternist series. The first novel, Pattern Maker, was published in 1976. The series plunges its readers into a world in which humanity has been transformed into different genetic groups and hierarchies. See, what did I say about that midheaven and Aries? What did I say about that midheaven and Aries? Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. I also am curious about her Mars. Since Mars rules Aries and Mars rules Scorpio, I'm trying to see what her Mars is doing. Okay, so her Mars is in Taurus. Taurus is about security and earthiness. So that's interesting because Mars is also the planet of war, right? So Mars rules weaponry, the military, and all of that shit. And she's got Mars in Taurus. And then Mercury has to do with communication. And her Mercury is in Cancer. Her Mercury is in Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon. The things that happen internally. Is her Mercury in Cancer? Yes, her Mercury is in Cancer. Yes, absolutely. And her sun is in Cancer. Yeah. So that just makes me think about feeling. like that her writing would be able to touch people and that she very much felt what she was writing as well. Okay, let me get back. All right. So it says this series plunges its readers into a world in which humanity has been transformed into different genetic groups and hierarchies. The characters are forced to fight for their desired positions in society, working against the systemic oppressions that hinder them. Now, what does she have in her sixth house? Sixth house rules everyday routines. So she has her sixth house in Capricorn. Capricorn is the planet of hard work, ruled by Saturn, the planet of limitation. So this would tell me that she worked very diligently and very hard every single day at her craft. Oh, wait, it's more in Sagittarius. Wait, hold on. Sorry. Oh, is it in Sagittarius, the sixth house? This chart, see this chart is a little different. It's kind of hard to read. Okay, sixth house in Sagittarius, that still makes sense because sixth house is about what you do every day. So then Sagittarius is about adventure, thinking outside of the box. And so the things that she did every day as a writer would be very much outside the box. So that makes sense. Okay, I got it. I got it. And then her 10th house is in, and again, the 10th house is the midheaven. That's what you'll be known for. Her 10th house is in Aries. Aries is about setting itself apart. So she would have stood out and was known for standing out, known for being different, 6 feet tall, Black woman, writer of science fiction. Love it, love it, love it. All right, let's get back into the story, but it's all related. Okay, look, Octavia's work rose to prominence when she won multiple awards for her writing in the 1980s. What did I say that Mercury was doing? What's that Mercury doing? What is that Mercury doing? Where is that Mercury? Oh my God. She has Mercury trine Jupiter. So trines are kind of good, and Jupiter is the great benefit, whereas Saturn is the great malefic. Jupiter is like the giver of gifts. And so then that Mercury and that Jupiter being trined makes me feel like, because Mercury rules communication, electronics, and things like that. So writing, all of those things. So she was given the gift of that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. And then her Mercury is sextile Mars. So sextiles are also considered to be good. I don't want to overestimate because my astrology teacher would be like, listen, don't get carried away. But that Mercury sextile Mars, so that communication, remember that Mars is that separation, setting you apart. And so her writing would set her apart, and then she would have good luck with that Mars. Damn. And Mars was also sextile her ascendant, that Cancer. I don't know what that means. Sorry. Damn, she's got a lot of sextiles. She's got a lot of sextiles. Wow. Now, this is interesting. She has Saturn square Chiron. So when we see squares, that's where we can have some conflicts. And so Saturn, again, the planet of limitation, the great malefic. Chiron is looked at as the wounded healer. It's that wound that you're always trying to work on. And so that's super interesting. I want to know what sign her Chiron was in, because so there would be some conflict there. There would be some limitation with her feeling like she could overcome some wounding, maybe. Oh, her Chiron is in Scorpio. Okay. So I wonder if she would have felt very much like an outsider with that Chiron, that wounding in Scorpio, and she was bullied. I wish I had my notes. I need my notes because I need to see what my notes are for Scorpio. But anyway, I'm getting carried away. But I think I'm going to do this for like all of these little readings. It just makes it more interesting to me. Okay. Let me get back. All right, let me get back. During the 1990s, she wrote and published the acclaimed novels that began her Parable series. Prolific writer. That Jupiter and that Mercury. In 1995, Octavia made history. What did I say about those placements? Also, being herself, that occidental part of that chart, being herself. Wow. She made history when she was awarded the prestigious MacArthur Foundation Fellowship. She was the first science fiction author to become a MacArthur Fellow. Octavia's stories are keen, layered, and poignant. Here comes the Cancer. Here comes the motherfucking Cancer, I think. Her narratives often point to humankind's tendency towards violence. I would argue that is her midheaven in Aries. I would also argue that was her Mars in Taurus, because Taurus is all about security. And so we're constantly fighting for our place in the world, fighting for our security, fighting for, it's very tangible. Taurus is earth, our home, what we eat, things like that. The struggle, I would argue that was that Mars in Taurus. And the critique of the human experience. Now, I would argue that is her sun in Cancer. No, not her sun. I would argue that was the Mercury in Cancer, writing about the human condition. Cancer about feeling. And maybe that ascendant too, that rising sign and that ascendant in Cancer. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm going to say. Her narratives often point to humankind's tendency toward violence and the creation of hierarchies that benefit the few at the expense of the many. However, her stories are not cynical. The unlikely achievements of her protagonists convey the inspiring message that humans could evolve to be more tolerant, accepting, and supportive. I would argue that's that Cancer too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I wonder if that's her moon in Leo. Moon in Leo, the moon has the final say. That talks more about, oh God, I need my notes, but I'm not going to get up and get my notebook right now. We just went over moon placements last month. I mean, I've been studying this stuff for years, but like going through this, I think it was like an 8-week class, 8 weeks. There's so many, like I have so many notes, and now I feel like I had to start all over again because my teacher was so good. Anyway, her work featured diverse communities of characters who were human origin, often African descent, extraterrestrial, or hybrids of different species. Her work suggests that diverse communities are essential in creating much needed changes in society. Changes in society. What's happening with her Sagittarius? Not that I don't even know if Sagittarius has anything to do with anything. Like, what do I know? What do I know? Sagittarius. Where that house is at? Sagittarius, 6th house. Oh, that's right. The 6th house in Sagittarius, the things that we do every day. And Sagittarius is about moving beyond. 6th house also is like service, also illness. I wonder if that means, would that denote some kind of illness coming from somewhere into her life with that 6th house? Would that be an unexpected illness? I don't know. Let's see. Octavia, although suffering from writer's block and depression, Worked until the day she died of a stroke in her home. Would that stroke be considered an unexpected illness? Dare I say? She bequeathed her papers, letters, manuscripts, and photographs to the Huntington Library in San Marino, California. The Octavia E. Butler collection is currently available to scholars and researchers visiting the library. Among her personal papers is a notebook from 1988 where she wrote down powerful aspirational affirmations such as, I shall be a best selling writer. Yes, Octavia. My books will be read by millions of people, and I will help poor Black youngsters broaden their horizons. Guess who I was just thinking that I needed to work with Octavia Butler. And this is how I'm going to do it. I shall be a best selling writer. My books will be read by millions of people, and I will help poor Black youngsters broaden their horizons. Broaden their horizons. Sixth house in Sagittarius, the house of service and what we do every day. Expanding beyond what you do every day. That vision, that midheaven in Aries, setting itself apart. You don't have to be a servant. You don't have to do this. You can be a writer. You can be this. You can be that. Oh my gosh. Okay. Journalist Ziba Blay observes in Octavia Butler wrote the story of her success years before it happened. So has Zoe Flowers. You will remember my name. That amazingly, Butler would soon find the kind of success she wrote about not long after writing down these affirmations. I really feel like she was channeling. I really feel like she's channeling. Okay. In the wake of her death, the Octavia E. Butler Memorial Foundation was created to provide writers' workshops, scholarships to young writers of color. Octavia Butler's writing unveils the truth of our own experience by transporting us to another time and place, one that lives only in our imaginations. She created imaginal worlds in her fiction and manifested new realities for herself with her writing. When asked why she became a writer, Octavia replied, I only had one choice. The Three of Pentacles shows us the important, if invisible, ink between the physical world and fantastical realms. Did not Zoe Flowers just say, I wonder if she was channeling? I mean, I know that's not a leap. I'm just saying. I'm going to start using this book as a study guide. The Three of Pentacles is a card that indicates that you must work steadily to manifest your purpose. There's that, what you do every day, that sixth house. Every day she worked on something that was outside of the box. Every day she worked on something that was beyond what people probably thought that she could do. The Three of Pentacles directs you to synthesize the workings of your imagination with your external reality. Absolutely. Message received. What should you focus your energy on creating? My film, which I will be shooting in 2 weeks. What projects and passions in your life are in alignment with your values? My creative projects and this YouTube channel. What can you create to reflect who you truly are? I'm already doing it. I am doing it. Oh my God, this was an amazing reading. I don't always come when you call, but I always come on time. If nobody told you today you are loved, you deserve love, you are an amazing human, please enjoy your human experience. Please work diligently at the things that are important to you. I am inspired by Octavia Butler. I hope that you are inspired by this reading. Like, share, subscribe. Let's take this channel to the next level, shall we? Zoe Flowers, signing out. I'll see you next time.